Hey, g'day, and welcome back to another Atlas Q&A. A bit behind the 8 ball on this one. Had a very late night. Stayed up till 5 AM playing Phasmophobia and drank about 2.5 bottles of wine. So I'm certainly feeling it. But maybe I should start drinking some rum and behave like a pirate. At any rate, the Q&A starts out with a teaser. We've got a new pre-made vessel. It looks like it's going to be on the way very soon. Based off the look and feel of the Kraken. I do like the look of it. The particular parts of the modules that I like the look of is the skin as such, the Kraken skin, as well as the circular window ports. That does look quite interesting instead of the square ports that we had for cannons prior. And it'll be interesting to see how that one actually plays out. Something new and interesting to see. We'll wait and see when it actually pops up what its actual function is, whether they're actually cannon ports or whether they're just windows. It's quite a lot there actually. It's 12 cannons on, if they're cannon ports, that's 12 cannons on either side. That's quite significant. It's not too bad actually. And I guess part of what they actually put in there with the teaser is that they talk about how they're currently doing a lot of optimization and maintenance of the current game, with the multiple teams working in tandem. And it's going to be interesting to see what optimization they're actually doing. The game needs a hell of a lot of it. And it sounds like they're sort of continuing their talk about how the current state of the game code is not particularly good, and they're still working through that. And obviously they've got lots of major gameplay changes and overhauls that they're actually putting in. Yeah, I don't know. Good luck to them. Hopefully they can give us more stuff that they've been working towards, and they've actually been churning stuff out lately, which is really good. Anyway, onto the Q&A. Alright, does the dev team have any thoughts about merging EU and NA PvP or making a one big mega map? Yeah, the answer here is a bit of an interesting one. Like, they're a bit worried about lag. They're also worried about people. You've got North Americans playing on EU servers, and the ping will basically run through the roof. I already struggle. I've tried to play on the PvE server, and my ping goes through the roof too, because playing from Australia on North American or EU servers, it just doesn't work out for me. But, it's something that Australians have had to suffer for quite a long time. I remember when I'm back in the World of Warcraft days when I was still on dial-up, and the way I suffered through that. But it's just a thing that we deal with. And then the other thing they're worried about is offline PvP. And they've got to work out how to deal with that before they would lump everyone together. Alright, next question. Have you thought about making less planks needed on the lowest layer of shipbuilding? Yes, the new ship system will handle this much better once it rolls out. So we've got a new ship system. This is obviously the modular ship system that they keep talking about bringing in. There's a later question which sort of adds more to this. There's a bit of a worry at the moment that looks like they're getting rid of the old way of doing shipbuilding altogether with the planks and the way that you could actually craft it yourself. So yeah, not sure how that one's going to be sitting with people. We'll see how that goes. Alright, how does the team feel about setting minimum stat values for blueprints at each rarity, so that 300% cannons don't happen, or mythical blueprints that are actually worse than common ones? And apparently, yes, there's a huge balance on in progress for the blueprints. Sounds good. Obviously, we just have to wait. There's not much else we can do with that one. Are there any plans to reduce stun duration of shield bash or diminishing returns to stop infinite lockdown? Yes, I hate stun locking. It's one of the in terms of playing a game, when you lose control of your character and you're not able to do something, it's one of the most frustrating things that I've ever encountered. So stun locking where you've lost control, totally agree. It needs something that shouldn't be indefinite. Anyway, have to wait and see. Apparently it's on the list, but you just never know when these things are going to land. Alright, so here's the next one, about ships. Are there any plans for more old-style ships to be released, built from the frame up, or will the future ones be all pre-built? And the answer here, it's not clear-cut that they're going to remove the old style of building, but it definitely seems very highly likely. Unless some people actually have more of a confirmation of that. I haven't trawled through the Discord to see if there's been any talk on it. But, yeah, I don't know, it's like, for me, if you get rid of the old system where it was actually highly customizable, and that was quite nice to do for those people that do like building, and went with a modular system, if you have enough modules that the customization, so let's say for example there's 20 different modules, and you can then customize the ship using those 20 different modules, maybe then it'll sort of get nice, because you've got a lot of variability. And then there was also the fact that they were talking about having customizations in the lower deck of the ship, which would also be nice. So your modular setup is how you actually build your ship, so its look and its feel, but then you can customize the internal frame of your ship so that it becomes your house essentially. And I could probably live with that, but I really don't know what it is that they're going to be coming up with. And I suspect that the reason why this has come about, and I'll put up a couple of screenshots of some of my own ships and some of the other ships that I've seen in videos where it gets really ridiculous, and I can imagine that they want to stop people having these giant builds over the top of the vessels, including like building armoured vessels using deck pieces and roof pieces. And I would assume that's the reason, or the underlying reason, to go down this route. I'll have to wait and see, but yeah, I think that one's looking a little bit less on the good side from the side of the people that like to actually build the ships and customize them the way they want. I feel like they could have probably just gotten a bit smart with their code and just prevented people from layering, building pieces on top of a vessel, but still allowed that customization of the actual frames. Yeah, who knows? Alright, well, let's move on. You can chuck down in the comments what you think about it, whether you think this is a good idea or a bad idea. I've got mixed feelings, I would say. Alright, next one. Any plans for bigger structures like seawalls, gates, so that there's less need to overbuild harbours with thousands of structures? Absolutely. It's on the radar. We hear you. I don't know. I like having lots of different varieties of structures because it allows you to do interesting builds and create interesting villages and scenery. And I definitely like hearing about having less structures on the servers, because of the few times that I've jumped onto the PvE server, it's just an absolute mess with buildings and signpost spam, bloody people layering various different buildings over the top of each other, griefing and all the rest of it. It's it's a bit hard to actually come up with what the fix for that sort of stuff is, but let's see what they come up with, albeit they're not really telling us anything there. When can we expect more PvP balances to come out? They obviously had that survey recently. I did have a look at it, although I didn't bother answering any of the questions because I don't do PvP. But it's coming, basically. And apparently if you want to let your voice be heard, you need to get on the Discord and tell them what it is that you want. They are listening to the people far more than I would have thought, given that they should really be making their own game. But they're definitely taking the community's input. So feel free to jump on the Discord and let yourself be heard there. When will Ships of the Damned loot table be fixed? The instant infinite respawn of sea forts, and tweaking the market warehouse farmhouse to stop people from spamming them so that new or returning players actually have a chance to build. The response here I think is a bit not quite the best. Consider them added to the list. It's like they've just only just realised when somebody asked this question that those are things that they needed to look at. Yeah, you'd want to hope that it was already under consideration and that they knew about these kinds of issues. But yeah, at least someone spoke up and it's now on the list, even though I feel like those should already have been on the list. Will we see a new boss fight anytime soon? Not for a while. Apparently they're trying to fix other stuff and introduce new features first, so they just don't want to deal with boss fights just now, and they feel that they were being exploited. Yeah, I guess we've got the ones that are in the game now. The ones in the game right now aren't really that crash hot when you consider the Hydra and the Dragon. and even then some of the mythic creatures like the Gorgons, Cyclops, amongst other things. Oh, the rock elementals, they're also a bloody pain. All of that stuff I'd love to see get reworked, but I reckon that it's going to come down to the new Stormpunk theme and what creatures they will actually bring across and revamp for that particular thing. I'd love to see more boss fights, but I don't want them to be working on boss fights when they need to fix their base game first. So yes, I kind of agree with them on this one, but hopefully they have a vision of some boss fights, which maybe they could actually let us know what their vision there is, rather than not giving us anything. Next, will seahorses and dolphins eventually be following behind ships? Yes. Good. That's very good. We really need that. I don't understand why we would want ships pulled by dolphins and seahorses, unless you actually gave us something like a new ship, which was actually like a chariot. So a water-bound chariot that gets pulled by the seahorses would actually be quite good. You could even actually have an underwater chariot, so a fantasy-style underwater submarine. So rather than the actual submarine that we get at the moment, you actually have a chariot that is pulled by the seahorses and actually is a vehicle that you use underwater. I reckon that'd be pretty cool. Not so much pulling ships overland. I think that's I don't know. It's something that they're planning, unless it's going to be like the players themselves are actually riding the seahorses and pull the ship around to give it more maneuverability. That'll add all kinds of weird gameplay that you actually have to then work around. Might be just a little bit too much. Interesting concept, but I don't know how they're going to balance that one. Next, any update on trade winds? They're coming quarter 2, quarter 3. So that's actually quite a while away yet. Probably because they're still working on the claim system. But the trade winds would be fantastic. I'm looking forward to being able to move around the map in a much faster fashion. Any ETA on some bug fixing and stability patches? So essentially they're running patches, rolling out their patches every 2 weeks. And so, as we wait on each 2-week patch run, we will then see whatever it is that they're actually being patched in that particular week. We don't know exactly what they're working on at any given time, but they do note, again, similar to the PvP stuff above, if you want to actually be heard, if you've got issues, you need to get onto the official Discord and let them know on there. There is a bug fix, there is a bug form that you can actually fill out, and I've used that a couple of times when I've run across a few things, and that's one way of letting them know when you find something that's gone wrong. Alright, well, I guess that brings it to the end of the Q&A. Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, this particular Q&A. Again, they're still not giving much information, and I really would like them to actually put pen to paper and give us a bit more of this vision that they actually have, that they're not actually telling us about. But, this is the Q&A, this is what we've got. If there's anything in here that you find particularly interesting or particularly sad, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are very disappointed with the announcement here with the ships and how the modular system will be coming forward. That one's going to disappoint a lot of people, although there might be a lot of people out there that don't care. There might even be some people that really enjoy the fact that you don't have to do that frame building style of ships anymore. Or in the future, when it actually comes in. Don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you when the next development comes out from Atlas. Alright, catch you later.